about our messages. Our messages are offered for your highest and best good. You absolutely do not have to receive a message. If you'd rather not receive one, simply say no. But I do need an explicit yes if you do want to receive one. So I'm going to approach each of you and ask you if you want a message. You say, shake your head yes if you're on video, or you unmute yourself and say yes if your video's off. The messages are from my spirit guides and teachers that reach out to your spirit guides and teachers and find out what they want you to know for your highest and best good. And then I do my absolute best to share with you exactly what I'm given. If for any reason I add my own comments, I'll say this is from me. So you'll know it's not from Spirit, it's from me. The thing that often comes up is something about the future. And remember, the future is not cast in stone. It's a possibility or a probability, because the future casts a shadow before it. The closer the event, the stronger the shadow. Spirit knows how to perceive those shadows and gives you information so you can either step around or avoid it, or take actions to bring about or enhance whatever that future probability is. We do, after all, have free will. The other caveat on this is that this is a public venue. So more than one person can hear your message. And as such, Spirit will not do anything to embarrass you, but they also will share a message in a way that can benefit more than one person. So if you're listening to a message from someone else, I'm giving to someone else, and it rings true, if it feels right, take it. They're not copyrighted. Many of the problems and issues we deal with share some commonalities, especially for old souls and kindred spirits and like minds like ourselves. My throat coat tea only works when I drink. After the messages, we will set our intention for the week, and we will connect across time and space through Spirit. And I've been having so much fun with that. I'm glad that I stumbled across it. And if you haven't ever joined a virtual circle, it's pretty interesting. All right, so Tina, you're our newest guest. Would you like a message, ma'am? Yes.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, so my teacher on my right-hand side is Tao Chuan Ling. He's a Chinese priest, and he serves as my high spiritual teacher. And he steps very close. And over this next week, the next 7 days, between today and next Sunday, he wants you to do a little bit of a Tina history lesson. And he really wants you to go back in and remember all of the times that you trusted yourself and it worked out well, and the times that you didn't trust yourself and it didn't work out so well. But specifically in this journaling exercise, he wants you to zoom in and focus on and recall how they felt different. Because as you're walking across through life and then you come to a fork in the road, you're pretty darn good about knowing which way to go. Sometimes you're not so good about going the way you know to go. So you know you should do this, take the right path, but then for whatever reason you take the left path. It's not unlike what our conversation with Larry was earlier about really trusting what you know. And he wants you to really start to create your encyclopedia of experiences, Because as you do so, what will happen is you will start to recall how your body perceives intuitive and psychic information. And as you become more familiar with the difference between, I know this, but I'm going to do this, you'll be able to start to put your finger on the pulse of your intuitive knowing, which will help you begin to quiet those feelings within you from around you. And as you begin to really start to master this tool we have called our mind, and allow yourself to get, so he corrected that. Allow yourself to trust what you know. You'll find that the water around you starts to calm down, and your path forward becomes very, very across glassy waters instead of rough waters. Because he's wanting you to really know that the difference between a glassy water and a rough water is simply you're not trusting what you know. And I will bless you and leave you with that. And because we're not connected in the same room, you get a chance to let me know if that made any darn sense or if you need some clarification.
No, actually it does, because that is very much the truth. I will come to something and it'll be like annoying, and then I'll go, no, I think I'll go this way. And so I end up missing out because I'm not trusting myself. So it makes a lot of sense, yes.
Excellent. I think probably everybody...
Because I've been trying to figure out how to do that.
Excellent. Yeah, figuring things out sometimes is, that's the booby prize. And I don't think there's anybody that's here with us today who hasn't experienced exactly the same thing. We're trained to master this physical world, and it's only once we start to open the doors to open the spiritual eyes of our soul, then start to train ourselves to trust that many of us find the peace we're looking for. So I want to bless you and leave you with that. Welcome. I hope you join us again, and thanks for finding us. All right. So now that you're welcome. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to start going from left to right. And typically what happens on left to right is you show up in the order which you joined the call. So Sylvia, would you like a message? Excellent. And thank you for sharing that link. I look forward to learning about Kwanzaa and, more importantly, your style of storytelling. All right, so Nathan steps very close to me, and he shows me the image of an inchworm. Inchworms are about an inch long, and they basically, when they got claws in the front and claws in the back, and they kind of come together and they make progress. And he's wanting you to accept that several of the things you are trying to bring about, you are bringing about in your own time. And even though you wish you had a yard worm where you can make bigger steps and progress more quickly, you're making sure and steady progress. And he reminds you of the tortoise versus the hare story and analogy. Stay the course, keep on going, because there's a purity to the way you're doing it. And the thing he wants to underline and underscore is that purity and integrity of what you're doing. And he reminds you that in time and on time you will arrive at the destination, but the way you're taking your steps is allowing you to enjoy the journey. So be patient, enjoy the journey, and know you'll get there. And when you do, it'll exceed even your high standards. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if that made any darn sense.
Absolutely. The same thing keeps being said. I have to trust it.
Well, I think you just have to trust yourself and be patient with yourself on things. All I can say is there's an impeccability that you bring to things. And once it launches, it really takes a life of its own. And so trust that and enjoy the process. And even though it may not seem you're making progress, you're inching along and it'll happen. So my highest blessings.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Larry, would you like a message? So I have a Native American, his name is Red Hawk, which is my Americanized version of how he says his name. He shows me the image of a red hawk. And he wants you to delve back a few decades. And he's showing me a shelf, and on that shelf is a box, and in that box are a few cherished ideas, thoughts, and ambitions that got put on the back dark corner and has gathered dust. So he really wants you to look back at some of the things that interested you. I don't know if you're a teacher, but I think there's a wealth of information that you can share with others in a way that will be interesting to them. So I don't know if that's part of one of the things you'll find in this area, this box. But really delve back through your past and look at some of the things that interested you, fascinated you, and motivated you. And take them out, dust them off, and see if any of those old blue jeans, old shoes fit. And that will, I think, help you see why it is you're struggling with the question you asked earlier. And I'll bless you and leave you that and see if that made any darn sense.
Yes, actually, and it's something I'm going to have to do some thought on, because I don't want to just take that at face value. And it's honestly, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of crazy to me. It seems a lot of times whenever you have a message for me, it comes from your Red Hawk guide, because my guide that deals with me a lot is a Native American as well, called Dancing Horse.
Excellent.
And he's been dealing with me a lot lately, quite a lot.
Well,
and I've been also doing some searching into, what used to drive me a little bit.
Excellent.
And when you said teacher, I guess in a way it did touch with me, because other people have called me teacher,
Yeah.
Not that I really intend to teach, but I think sometimes it's more spirit coming through.
Yeah, and I would caution you on that and just trust that's you, and the Spirit comes through in different ways. So, all right, my friend, well, I'll bless you and leave you with that, and I'm glad you joined us for the new year, and I look forward to chatting with you soon. All right, Lisa, would you like a message? I've got you running through a big train station, and this is a big one like on the East Coast, not like on the West Coast. And you've got your ticket, you've got your bag over your shoulder, and you're trying to manage a roll behind thing. And then all of a sudden you stop because you realize you got the ticket to the wrong location. And it's a time right now for you really to take a moment and really think about where you want to be January of 2022 and January of 2023. And the thing that is interesting about this message is coming from Nathan is that you always tend to want to get the express train with no stops so you can get there more quickly. And he wants you to consider getting just the normal train ticket so it has a lot of stops on it and slows down a couple of things that you're thinking you need to get through quickly, and enjoy the journey just a little bit more. And this really has to do in the realm of bringing about a quality of life and connection with others and an experience rather than just getting from point A to point B. And I will bless you and leave you with that and ask you if that made any darn sense.
Oh, it made all sense. It made all sense.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Okay.
All right, Beverly, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Is that Tinkerbell I hear?
Yes.
Hi, Tinkerbell. You don't get a message, sorry. Get a message from your mama. All right, so Nathan steps very close and he shows me you holding a very big snow globe. And it seems as though you're very tired of shaking the snow globe and you're ready for the snow to start to settle. And especially in the realm of, it feels like sometimes you're thinking that other people are shaking the snow globe, when in fact it's really you shaking the snow globe. But what he wants you to focus on, and this is interesting, I haven't seen this perspective. He's reminding you that as the snow settles, you only think you know what the scene is, but you haven't created the scene yet. So you've been so frustrated with the shaking of the snow globe and all the snow flowing around, and you can't really see what the scene inside the snow globe is, that he really wants you to remember that you haven't created that scene yet. So allow yourself to calm down and let things settle, but then still create the image that you want to have when the snow settles. And I think that scares you because you don't really know, and you've got limitations on what you think you know. So he really wants you to go with this at an open mind and allow it to happen the way it's going to happen. But get very deliberate on how you're going to create this scene once the snow settles. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any darn sense.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. Bless you. And Robin, would you like a message? All right, I've got a very strong feeling of a Japanese samurai that's being presented to me by Nathan. And this samurai is sharpening his swords and doing preparation for the day. And I don't know if you remember in Samurai Legend, but every day they prepare as though it's going to be their last day. And the reason you're being given this is you've been doing a lot of preparation for a long, long time. And the preparation has served you well. And he's reminding you that within the next week or two, all of that preparation is going to be tested. And he wants you to know and trust that you indeed are ready, prepared, and capable to handle what's coming up. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any sense. Okay, I've still got you muted, so.
Yes, I have been very prepared and preparing for years and focusing on spirituality. I'm not sure what's coming up, but I just got a tingle all the way up the right side of my body to my head, so.
Okay, well, just trust and know that you're ready. I'll bless you and leave you with that. Okay, Leah, would you like a message now?
Yes.
Okay, I've got a crossword puzzle. And I don't know much about crossword puzzles, but this looks like it's probably like the New York Times or some kind of world-renowned crossword puzzle that people are very proud of how quickly they can solve. And you've got like 80% of all of this crossword puzzle filled in, and there's 20% that you haven't figured out yet. And this message is coming from Tao Chuan Ling, and Tao Chuan Ling is saying, to allow yourself to take your time, because the only area of constraint on getting this done is in your own mind. And he reminds you that the moment you fill in all of the pieces of the crossword puzzle, there'll be a new one to solve tomorrow. And don't put pressure on yourself to worry about tomorrow's crossword puzzle. Just really experience, find the answers, do the research, and do the learning that you are interested in to answer this last 20% of this crossword puzzle. And he reminds you that you get a certain level of joy in solving problems and riddles and figuring things out. And that time pressure to like do it fast kind of takes the joy out of it. And that time pressure is only coming within yourself. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any darn sense.
And it also kind of tied into what you told me last week, or what Nathan said last week, and actually spent this week working on that crossword puzzle, and that was exactly what I was asking, is what is that 20%, and when am I going to get to it? So that was amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I will bless you and leave you with that. Hanna, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Oh, hold on a second.
Okay.
What I do is I put my view in the center because the Zoom recording is my backup for all the recording. So if my main camera messes up, then I've got a backup, and I don't want anyone's face or name to be out in public. So
You are better and better each time.
okay. Hanna, back to you.
Yes.
All right. I've got a crock pot, and in that crock pot, you've got one of your wonderful cabbage dishes. but you don't seem to have time to want to wait for it to do its thing over the next several hours, and you're trying to figure out a way to make it go faster. And you know from experience, every time you try to go faster, it just doesn't turn out as good as you want it to, so it doesn't give you that satisfaction that it gets when it takes the full time to do its thing. And the reason Tao Chuan Ling is sharing this with you today is he's kind of giving you a little slap on the wrist because you wanted to start this cabbage 2 days ago. And you had plenty of time to get it done the right way 2 days ago, but you kept on putting it off, and now you finally got it started, and you don't feel like you've got enough time to do it right. And he wants to remind you that the only way to break this pattern is to allow yourself to trust what you know and start doing the things you know to work the moment it comes up. So don't put anything off. Just, you get the feeling, oh, I need to clean my desk. Oh, I need to start the cabbage. Oh, I need to go to Costco. Oh, I need to go visit my family. Allow yourself to stop what you're doing. Well, he said that's wrong. Allow yourself to stop what you're busy with to do what you want to bring about. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if you have any questions or concerns.
No, this is great, and I know I've been working for this for a long time, so thank you.
I think we all are. So I'm gonna go to some of our new guests and Happy New Year. Enjoy your daughter, and let Albert know I'll give him a message in just a minute.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And Nicola, would you like a message?
Yes, please, I would.
I don't think I've ever had this image before. I've got a leprechaun. And this leprechaun has a look on his face that kind of reminds me of me, kind of stern, kind of not very emotive, not very happy. And he's got this reputation of not being such a nice person. But this is a sweetheart of a leprechaun. And the message around this is coming from my teacher, Nathan, and he's showing me this image. He's kind of my companion guide / he also works with me on healing. And he's reminding you of something that you've known for a long, long time, but sometimes you forget that outward appearances aren't necessarily what you'll find on the inside. So it's kind of the old, don't judge it. That's just from me. Don't judge a book by its cover. This leprechaun has a bad reputation, but has a heart of gold. And you've got a situation that's just come into your vibration or will be coming into your vibration in very short order, where you're going to encounter someone or something. I would imagine it's a someone since it was shown to me as a leprechaun. That when you first encounter them, your mind is going to have one opinion. Mm-hmm. But if you take a deep breath and you really allow yourself to touch the spirit, touch the whole namaste, my spirit recognizes your spirit, you're really going to find a beautiful soul. And it will become very apparent quickly why your paths crossed, as long as you see them with your spiritual eyes rather than your physical eyes.
Okay.
And I will bless you and leave you that, and then see if that made any darn sense.
No, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'll bless you.
That.
And Rupert, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
I've got a Native American, his name is Red Hawk, and he steps very close to me, and he is showing a project you're working on, and he's showing this in the version of a dugout canoe. And a dugout canoe is you take a tree and you start to cut out all the parts that are not the canoe, and you get this solid wood canoe. And what started out as how he wants me to say this is what started out as a kind of a passion project. You started to make this dugout canoe, this project you're working on, mainly to have the experience of doing it. And it's because of the circumstances with the world right now with the pandemic, that passion project is now shifting to become more of a real world project. It's actually, you know, kind of the world kind of goes around and old things become popular again. So you've been working on something that started out as a passion project that's now actually having some practical application. And he wants you to start to figure out how you can adapt this dugout canoe process to become more viable, to help more people see and understand this love, this passion, this way you see things and want to have them expressed. And it seems like this passion for the past and things that are more organic, more native, more traditional, and how you can apply them into the modern world to help other people to capture that feeling, to help them survive and thrive what they're going through in their life right now. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any darn sense to you whatsoever.
Good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I bless you and leave you with that. I think I've gotten everybody who's brand new now. So now I start left to right. So Colleen, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
All right, so this is coming from Tao Chuan Ling, and Tao Chuan Ling is sharing with me an image of you sharpening a fillet knife. And you know, a fillet knife is one of those with the really thin blades that's really flexible so you can fillet fish. And you have been for a long, long time preparing this fillet knife, but you haven't really had a purpose for it. And he's sharing with you that you've been preparing and fine-tuning tools for a long time. And he's saying by Valentine's Day, by the mid of February, that you will know exactly why you've been sharpening, fine-tuning, and honing the blades, the sharpness on these blades, because everything will fall into place. And the best way I can describe it, it's like you put on a comfortable old robe that doesn't necessarily look the prettiest, but you just feel at home with it, and all that'll fall into place sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And everything that you've been kind of working on and working towards, you'll find out exactly why you've been drawn in that direction. And it will feel like you're home. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any darn sense.
Yes, thank you. It makes a lot of sense.
Excellent. I'll bless you and leave you with that. And Jan, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Can I make a funny comment first?
All right, sure.
So you've got two little blue dots on your headset. And every time I look at your picture, because it's kind of dark, it looks like one of those monsters looking back at me from the dark with shiny eyes. And if you all haven't figured out, I'm pretty much a darn goofball, so that's part of my goofballiness. All right, Jan, let's see what would like to be shared today. All right, I've got an entity who shows up every now and then. Her name is Clarissa, and Clarissa is a pre-Civil War, American Civil War, very powerful kind of Maureen O'Hara type character. And she's stepping very close to me. And she is wanting me to share with you a magnolia blossom. Now this magnolia blossom, both my hands are together, it's twice as big as that. It is huge. And it's got such a pungently sweet aroma to it that it would fill up a 5,000 square foot house. It's how fragrant this is. And if you've ever smelled a magnolia, they're almost sickening sweet when they're very, very freshly opened. By the way, it's my grandmother was my mom's favorite flower. So whenever a magnolia shows up, it tugs at my heart. Anyway, she's presenting this magnolia to you as an acknowledgement of something that you've shifted your perspective on during this last holiday season. You're seeing things slightly different. You're understanding things slightly different. You're perceiving things slightly differently. And if you pursue this course, if you keep on going this course, not necessarily this course here, but whatever you're perceiving differently through the holidays, your next holidays will be unrecognizable to you. Almost like a magnolia doesn't fit in the middle of December in North America. That's how different the holidays will be next year if you continue along the way that whatever this shift you experienced this holidays. So I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that made any sense.
Yes. Well, this is fulfilling because I have been on a path, and so that does make sense as far as making progress. And so, yes, thank you from you, and thank you, Clarissa.
You're welcome, and continue the good work. And for our new people, when I'm around you in person, I get the feedback from your vibration as to how the message is landing. Over Zoom, I don't have that feedback. I can look at your facial expressions, which sometimes are misleading and distracting. So I ask for the feedback because I'm missing that full circle of the way we used to do messages when we met in person. The great thing is I get to chat with people around the world instead of just in Southern California. So with that, I will bless you and leave you with Jan. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Albert, would you like a message?
Yes, sir.
All right, so NASA guy, very close, right in my face, says recheck your calculations. You've got a fundamental mistake. So there's something you've mapped out, planned out, and you've made a fundamental mistake in your calculations, not in your presumptions or your premise, but in your calculations. So recheck your work, redouble your work. This has to do with it feels personal finances area is the area it feels like. So recheck your calculations, and I will bless you and leave you with that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, he's in my face, like right here. So I would sense that there's some level of urgency to it.
Does it have to do with, when you mentioned finances, I guess work isn't directly considered finances, or does it really have to do with, like banking?
It has to do with the way he's interpreting this, the feeling he's given me. It's your overall financial situation. So if working for so many more years or days, weeks, months, or whatever is part of your calculations, re-examine your calculation.
Okay.
So
I'm working on my income taxes, so maybe that's.
He said the presumption is not the presumption is not the problem, it's the calculation.
Yeah, got it.
I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Shelley, you're next. Would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. I've got one of the biggest frogs I've ever seen sitting on a lily pad at the edge of a pond, and you're trying to lean over and figure out how you can kiss the sucker to see if it will become a prince. And this is coming from my joy guide, Christopher. And he is reminding you that kissing frogs only makes princes in fairy tales. But he's also reminding you that if you kiss a frog, you don't get warts on your mouth. So you're in a situation or circumstance where you're walking a fine line between two different types of ways you're perceiving things. One is like the myth that you can kiss a frog and it'll become a prince, and the other one is that if you kiss a frog, you'll get warts on your mouth. So he really wants you to examine how you are perceiving things going into the spring. So it's going into the late part of March, or between now and Easter is probably the best way to say it. And he really wants you to see things that are in your mind and how these fairy tales are kind of sometimes opposite each other. So one says, kiss the frog, get a prince. The other one says, kiss the frog, get warts. Neither one of them is the truth. There's a truth in the middle. And he really wants you to start to unpack and unravel things to see exactly what your truth is. And because it's a frog and a prince, I would have to say that this feels very much like something with a relationship. Not necessarily romantic, but with relationships and how you move forward with that. And I will bless you and leave you that and see if that made any darn sense.
Makes perfect sense. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll bless you and leave you that. And Claire, would you like a message?
Yes, please.
All right, so first thing, Red Hawk, my Native American protector guide, steps very, very close to me. And he goes, some things, there's just not enough sage that you can burn to make it right. And you got something that's going on right now, and he really wants you to get out of the realm of like the burning sage and trying to clean up energy and space and stuff like that. And he really wants you to get out the mop, the bucket, the bleach, and you just got to clean house on a couple of things. This seems like it's come up recently. I would say it's in the realm of communication with other people, and clearing the air with a conversation will work much better than trying to clear the air with sage. And I will bless you and leave you that and ask if that makes any darn sense to you.
Yeah, I'm reconnecting with my sister Mary, who finally contacted me. And I'm looking for the birds to respond to a snail mail letter to her as she did to me. And so I think I'm needing to be direct and kind.
So this is from me. And as you know, I know Mary. There's a term which I have resisted my whole life since I heard about it 15 years ago. But in this case, I really think that it applies. And that term is ruthless compassion. Just really be straightforward in your communication while being compassionate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I get too. So thank you so much.
I'll bless you and leave you with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Susan, would you like a message, ma'am?
Hi, yes.
Happy New Year. I like your hair. It looks very sassy. Okay. I've got a old recipe. And it's Velveeta cheese and canned hot sauce, like picante sauce. And you really can't stand it, but two other people around you just love it. They adore it. And in this circumstance, in this situation, remember that you're preparing this cheese sauce for them and their enjoyment rather than yours. And you can also remember that you can make your own little special sauce for you, and everyone can have what they want and what they like. So you got a situation where it's really going to be to your advantage to help other people enjoy what it is they want. Because for them, this feeling of this Velveeta cheese, chili queso or whatever the heck they call it, it reminds them of home. It reminds them of love. It reminds them of something from the past. And even though your palate has evolved, they're looking for the experience more than the flavor. So it feels very much like it has to do with your daughter and one of her friends. Yeah, not your mom or your brother, but mainly around Bree. Okay, so Amy wants to say hi right quick.
Hi, Susan. Sorry, just had to say hi quick.
This is my wife, Amy, everybody. So, all right, I'll bless you and leave you that, Susan.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Hey, Judy, how are you?
Judy, Terry. Hi.
Happy New Year.
Hi,
All right,
Happy New Year to you.
would you like a message?
Yes, please.
Excellent. All right, Nathan's asking you, how many years are you going to have this damn thing on your New Year's resolutions? Same stuff, different year feeling. But here's what he wants to remind you about. That the person who first put this on their New Year's resolutions quite a while ago isn't the same person adding this to their New Year's resolutions this year. Something simple yet profound has changed in the last 4 months. And he really wants you to leverage who you are now to accomplish what you've wanted to bring about for a very long time. He goes, time now is right, and things will fall into place like you've always wanted them to, even though they may not happen exactly the way you think they should. And I will bless you and leave you with that and see if that makes any darn sense.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. I think that's everybody. If I don't see you reaching for your unmute button, so I'm going to put us back into this view as we close and set our intention. So hello, everybody, again. So if you're new here, we're trying something that's kind of different. And I'm like madly in love with this, and hopefully you like it too. So I want you to put out your left hand, and I want you to invite Lefty, your teacher on your left, to hold your hand. And I want you to put out your right hand and invite Righty to hold your hand. So you got teacher on your left, a teacher on your right. For me, it's Nathan and Tao Chuan Ling. Feel their connection. Now I'm going to invite our spirit guides and teachers to figure out how to connect us all across time and space, from San Diego to UK. And I want you to feel the energy. I want you to feel the vibration. And I want you to feel the energy come in your right hand and out your left hand as we connect across time and space via spirit. And I want you to imagine that it's next Sunday, 1 week from today, and you've accomplished what it is you want to bring about. It's real, it's tangible, it's in the books. How does that feel? And I want you to express that feeling as a way of being. being happy, being accomplished, being relieved. Whatever that sense is, whatever that feeling is, having accomplished what you want to bring about, I want you to set that as your intention, your context for the week. So every action you take is held within that context. Every thought you make is within that context. And I invite our spirit guides and teachers to help us open our eyes to see our next step, our ears to understand what is being communicated, our minds that we may perceive what is happening, our hearts that we may give and receive love freely as we walk our paths this next week in accomplishing what it is we want to bring about, what we incarnated to bring about this lifetime. And together we say, and so it is. And I thank our spirit guides and teachers for connecting with us across time and space. And I really wish you all the best in this next week in accomplishing what you want to bring about. And I wish you Happy New Year. And we see you on Wednesday at the Messages Circle. Otherwise, next Sunday. Okay, you can unmute yourself and say goodbye to everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Nice to meet our new friends, and take good care. Happy New Year. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.